good morning to all our followers and viewers who have tuned in live with us. It feels really, really wonderful to see so many of you so passionate about creating a positive change in the education space. It really feels good to see a community of very passionate change makers. And as I was thinking about our discussion, I couldn't help but go back to my own school days. When I was, jotting down the questions that we're supposed to discuss, I was constantly thinking about my school days. And I realized that, my love for music, for arts, for painting, that's where it all flourished in my school. And the amount of opportunities that we were exposed to as children, whether it was singing, dancing, our annual days, sports day, cultural events, that really brought this passion in me to pursue music and take it forward, in terms of joining a class and getting trained professionally for it. So I realized that, holistic education for many children, it might be an outlet for them to express themselves, to express their emotions. For some children, it might just be, a way to get our minds off those heavy academic subjects. It feels lighter when we participate in these sort of events. And for some of us, like I said, it was a way to discover our own interests, our own abilities, and develop a passion for what we really love to do. So it really made me think about what exactly do we mean by holistic education, given that our 21st century is so dynamic. There are so many changes that are happening every day. So is holistic education merely a co-curricular or an extracurricular subject, like we say, like how it's popularly known, or does it serve a larger purpose in today's day and age? And thank you so much. I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Ms.Hetal Shah, who has joined us. She's a part of the Muktangan family for the last 8 years, and she's extremely passionate. She's extremely proactive in all the activities that happen in Muktangan. And she's here today to guide us and tell us more about what role holistic education plays in the 21st century. She's also the leader of our holistic education department. Welcome to this live session. I'm sure that everybody who's joined in will get to learn a lot through our discussion today. Um, Ms. Hetal, my first question to you is, for everybody who has joined, I think many people might not really fully understand what we mean by holistic education. So if you could guide us a little bit more on what exactly is holistic education and what role does it play in a child's life?
Thank you, Shruti, for introducing. Yes, I'm Hetal Shah, working in Muktangan in last 8 years and leading holistic education department. And definitely the passion for the for the holistic subject. That is the reason I'm still in those subject in those areas. So holistic education covers art, music, physical education, dance, and drama. Those are, I think, the favorite subjects of most of the students. And also, as you mentioned, when you or me, when we were in school, it was our favorite subject. So, I would never call all the subjects as a co-curriculum or an extra subject. They mean the exactly same value as the other subjects like maths and science. So in Muktangan, great importance, a lot of weightage is given to holistic subjects also. There are 2 to 3 periods of art, music, and all the other holistic subjects that only shows the importance of holistic education in Muktangan.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said, that it is given equal weightage just like all the other subjects. And I think that is the key takeaway here, because we can't relegate it to a secondary status because it really plays such a fundamental role in a child's development, and even for teachers, because I'm sure that engaging in these sort of activities is extremely good and extremely useful even for our educators and facilitators, because uh, coming back to how it's helping all of us, it's really helping us think out of the box, think creatively, uh, have fun exploring, have fun trying something new, because as and when we age, we realize that we start confirming a lot more. We become more rigid in our approach, and we start seeking solace in our own comfort spaces. And very, for children, it's a natural instinct to try something new. They have a lot of curiosity, but I think that curiosity and that love for exploring new things should be sustained even as children grow up into adults, because that's really a life skill for all of us. And I want to understand a little bit more from you in terms of the curriculum also. All these 21st century skills that we are trying to address or trying to achieve through holistic education. If you could highlight a little bit about 21st century skills also, and then how are we actually implementing this in our curriculum? Are we making any modifications in the curriculum, or is the implementation different?
Also, I would say the curriculum of Muktangan is quite unique, and yes, completely in line with 21st century skills. Where, if I would talk about art, or I would talk about music, where children do drum circle, they make their own music. They come together. They are given percussion instruments. They are given time. They make their own music, and then the drum circle is presented. So children are given a lot of lead, or children are given a lot of initiative to creatively present their work. Also, in physical education, I would say children are given free play, where the activity is not decided by the teacher. Many a time, children want to do something on their own. So they do get in each of their PE period or physical education period, they are given that free time where they go and just play, because the whole days of studies, or whole day sitting, it does not make sense to them, where rather than just sending them on the ground and play, because today many of our children, where they stay, they do not have that space to go and play, or to have that matches, etc. So that is something we really keep in mind, where where children, we send them out to play. Also, during the lockdown, we our goal was that children are able to express themselves, because in the current pandemic situation, the environment in which they were staying, it was very difficult for them to emotionally express themselves. So the activities of art were planned in such a way that self healing is taking place, where they are doing the activities. In physical education, our focus was a lot on yoga, because where they stay, they have a limited space. So yoga exercises were helping students to take care of their physical body. Music, focusing on music which makes them feel energetic, make them do a lot of actions, and interact with teacher, interact with other students, because the social interaction of students was also at loss when they were not coming to school. So all of this area were taken into consideration even during the pandemic time. So
Now, I particularly liked what you said about children actually making their own music, you know, because while even we had music classes in school, it was again a very traditional structure.
Yes.
You know, the songs were fixed. The teacher would come in. Again, it was a very didactic way of learning music. Uh, and you know, the teacher would come in and teach the song, and we had to just repeat after the teacher. So I really like what you shared about children understanding that music exists everywhere. It could be found in anything, and using their creativity to come up with their own rhythms, their own tunes, and their own instruments also. So I think that's really also enabling them to become problem solvers, to develop that ability to think on their toes, you know, like if something's not working, then what else can we try? So they're also experimenting. And the most important thing here, I feel, is they're also getting very comfortable with failure. So if something doesn't work, then you're also accepting that there might be many other ways in which the same thing could be done. So there's also that sense of bouncing back from failure, which is something
So,
that in the pandemic,
so here I
yes,
remember, I think when we were in school, the bright students will get a chance to, participate in events or go for some events. Uh, as compared to in Muktangan, where music is given to each and every child. It is not that, if you are not able to score good in your other subjects, you cannot participate in the events. So that I, even from my time, I remember, like, only the bright children will go for events, as compared to Muktangan, where all the children take part in different events. There is also a choir which we have developed, where who children who are musically inclined, or they think of taking music in their future, those children are given additional training to be part of that choir. And for 3 years, from age 10, they participate in the choir for getting this additional practice, additional support for the music.
absolutely. And you know, I can't help but reflect on this very powerful scene I saw, you know, in this movie Tare Zameen Par. I'm sure many of us have seen that movie. But you know, just revisiting and reiterating how it's resonating with what we are discussing right now. Uh, you know, there's a scene where the older art teacher in the boarding school where this Ishan is sent to, he being an art teacher is so methodical and so rigid in his ways, and the child who loves painting, who loves experimenting, actually quietens down to such an extent, and if after a point of time even loses interest in painting, you know, until
Yes.
the character that Amir Khan plays in the film, he comes in and he says, in one particular scene, he says that, you know, let's all go out of the school and let's go out and see what is available around us and try and make something out of that, and let's experiment. um, and he comes up with this wonderful boat that he makes with everything that he finds, and I think that is the real essence of holistic education, to let us actually explore and widen our wings, you know, and see the world around us through our own creative lens. And coming back to, you know, what further leading into further, what I wanted to ask you, just as much as it's important for children to explore and develop these skills, it's also equally vital for teachers, because as facilitators, even teachers are constantly trying to innovate, they're constantly trying to strategize practices that are suitable, you know, according to the children's needs, according to their learning levels. So how can we ensure that teachers are also equipped with these sort of skills? Are we doing anything in Muktangan for teachers? If you could highlight something more about it.
So, as Muktangan has 1:15 ratio with our teacher and students, Similarly, that is a key, like, giving individual attention to maximum students. Similarly, with teachers also, we have a faculty per small group of teachers. So in music, like, teachers are taught different instruments. Teachers are trained in Indian classical music, also in Western music. So right now, I would say teachers are learning recorder, ukulele, and keyboard, which is taken in the classroom, and teachers are doing the session with the students using those instruments. So I think teachers are also learning, open to learn, I would say, and take all of this to students in the classroom.
Yes,
Similarly,
I
even if we want our children to participate in elementary and intermediate exams, which are required for their future career, our teachers are first trained into this exams. They have themselves given these exams just 3 4 years back, because again our teachers are from the community. They have never given these exams before. They are trained, they gave the exams, and now they are training students.
that's that's really wonderful because you shared a very important point that teachers are open to learning, and that is what is making the difference because you know given how you spoke about the pandemic also, it's really important that all of us develop this skill, that we become more open to experience, more open to learning new things. And that builds our resilience and our confidence also to a great extent. So, have you noticed any shift in any of the teachers? If you could think about any teacher who was apprehensive about these things and now has developed a certain level of confidence.
I think it's most of our teachers, because I am here since 8 years. I know where they were earlier, the level of confidence, like even to come and front of me to talk, or to go in front of 40 children and talk. It was so difficult for them. They used to feel, how are they going to teach art or music or physical education, because they do not have the skills. They are from the community. But slowly, as the skills were developed by the faculty in them, I think now when I see them, they come up with the ideas. Okay, we can do like this, or we can make this change, or how they come up with the modifications. They themselves come up for the solutions of the challenges that are coming. So definitely there is immense amount of growth in teachers.
And I've also noticed there's so much integration of holistic education in other subjects as well, which in traditionally we've really not seen that happening. In fact, when I think about my own school days, I remember only one teacher who integrated music into maths. Otherwise, it's always been very isolated and very separate subjects. Whereas here, I've seen, during library sessions also, teachers introduce songs. In the preschool years, also, songs are introduced. There's music, there is movement, there is art activities happening. Children are encouraged to build models. So, I think that this integration of holistic education that's happening in all other subjects is also making a huge difference.
So I would say in Muktangan, the day starts with music, that is opening circle time, and day ends with music, that is closing circle time. Music is really given such an importance in Muktangan that uh, everyone is like, tries to use music in their session, be it maths or geography or whatever subject they are teaching. There's a lot of action songs, there's a lot of movement, there are circles that happen. Also, that happens similarly with art also. If any concept is taught in history, uh, there is like suppose a Shivaji topic is going on, then the fort is made out of clay, etc. There's a lot of things are automatically happening where the integration of the subjects are happening.
Yes, and when you were speaking about the lockdown in particular, in school there is a lot of materials that are accessible to children. There are resources available for children to play with, whether it's art resources or music resources. But at home, because they've all been confined to the spaces of their own houses, not many students would have had easy access to these resources. So, in that case, how did you all manage to facilitate holistic education, and how did you actually keep children engaged during that period?
So, I think most of them might have this question. And the day I think the lockdown started, the we started. That was the first question. We also had it in our mind. Like, children do not have materials. How are we going to work on this? So, I think the best thing what we did is using available materials at home. There were activities that were planned keeping in mind, okay, pick up the objects that you see around and make a sculpture out of it, or using a newspaper and make things out of it. Just use waste papers or papers available at home to do self healing activities. So, majorly, most of the activities were planned in such a way that whatever materials children have, let them use it. Many a times, children do not have colors at home. They can use basic ingredients like turmeric that is available at home to make yellow color, or take leaves outside whichever are falling down and make green color out of it. So that is how art was taken care of. Similarly, for music, instruments were made out of available material at home again, like plastic bottles make shakers. So things were just made out of whatever is available.
Yes, and you said that we were just discussing that music actually exists everywhere, and this kind of contextual learning that happens is also extremely vital for children, because that's exactly what we are aiming at achieving, that children start innovating. And this was a very I think the right time for children to think outside the box and make instruments at home or experiment with different colors, with different objects around them. um, and I think that's also helping children stay grounded,
So
because
drums,
we become
drum
more
circle
aware.
was made out of, I remember, all the vessels available at home. There was drum circle created out of plastic bottles, pipes, etc. Like, children come up with amazing ideas.
Yes, I'm sure. I mean, I think I've seen a couple of photographs also of children. They've created pictures, faces and pictures out of chilies and tomatoes and all the vegetables that are available at home.
Yes.
So that was so creative to witness. And I'm sure it must have been a lot of fun for them trying all these different activities at home. And I think that this has also given an opportunity for children and parents to start bonding. So, how did this holistic education that was being facilitated during the lockdown and even before, how has that helped parents?
Uh, Parents were getting to see what kind of art activities or music that children are learning in school. So even parents were helping out to the younger kids to write down the lyrics. Simple thing of supporting the children. During the lockdown, we were not able to take students for different events outside. But other than lockdown, I think we have a very good parent support. They have been so good. Like if for all the events which we take children out in the evenings, or getting them home, or all the consents to get the from the parents was so easy. Like it they we never had any difficulty. It was very easy to connect with parents, and even the parents were very open, I would say, that you are giving our children opportunities to sing on different stages.
Absolutely, and I think that it's also helped children and parents bond because the lockdown itself was so difficult for children, staying away from their peers, staying away from teachers. The isolation must have been extremely difficult and challenging. And these sort of activities, with parental engagement being conducted in the house, that has also strengthened family as a social unit.
Yes.
And coming back to the expressions event that happened last month, uh, this event has really helped children discover their abilities, and uh, the true meaning of collaboration is what we see in this event. And there was one activity that I particularly loved watching, where children were sitting around in a large group, and they were coloring on a long sheet of paper. They were making different art designs and trying to innovate and make sense of all the shapes that they are drawing. And we did a similar activity in my college. We did a similar activity like that, and that was with the idea of helping us bond better as a class, as a team, because we were fairly new and we didn't really know each other. So this activity really helped us make good friends in class. So that was one activity I really loved watching. And if you have to give a little bit information to everybody who's probably new, who hasn't gone yet and seen our expressions event, if you could guide us a bit more about why we started expressions and how that is helping our children and teachers develop their holistic skills.
So, expressions started in the year 2013. I think all of our children just wait for that event to happen. Uh, like they, before even the year begins, they come to the teacher like, I would want to be the part of art or music or etc. So, uh, when the expression started, the whole purpose behind starting was to give children a stage to perform where they will be able to build their confidence. And it is one of the intra Muktangan event where all our seven schools children come together. There are around 500 so number of students that come together and perform on the stage. The focus is not on the competition again, I would say, as all the children are given the chance to participate. So none of them are like, not selected for the event or not part of the event. There is no winners announced after the event, like, this was one of the best event or anything like that. All of them are equal, all of them participate. At the end, all of them are happy that they performed some role on the stage. Also, when we start selecting the students for dance, music, or drama, we ask children where they want to go. The choice is given to the children. They freely choose where they want to work. They write their drama along with teachers and other students. They work together. They decide the character. They Everything is done together. It is not that the teacher decides and children are doing. There's a lot of critical thinking that is involved in this process because children come up with n number of themes and topics and the challenges and the solution, and then the script is written down. Also, it involves somewhere creativity, communication, working in team, because that is what also we want children to learn in the whole process. It is not just about the end product of doing the expression. The whole process is very important and it focuses on the 21st century skill. Again, it's a very safe environment where they are only with the Muktangan students. As I said, it is an intra Muktangan event. The competition is not what we are focusing on. Rather, we want children to support each other when they are performing. So we see that when they are performing and when they face any challenges, they are helping each other and not making chaos out of it. And you beautifully see that when the event is happening, we get lots of parents to come to see the event. There are donors who come to see the event. So, yes, so expression is all about children expressing themselves freely in a very, very safe environment.
And you said every event, like every performance, children come together, and I could really see that throughout the event because the way in which children were supporting each other, helping each other, thinking together. There's also a certain level of empathy and compassion that children develop for each other. And one point that very beautifully you've brought out is that we encourage collaboration through this event, and we don't want to put children in a competitive environment. Rather, we want them to come together and express together in a very safe, in a very positive learning environment. And I think that's what truly helps children, because I think we all, when we are scared or when we're very result oriented, sometimes we keep thinking whether we will win, whether we will lose, and in that process we sometimes don't even try something new because our fears take
Yeah.
over. And I think when these opportunities are given to children from a young age, it really makes a difference to their confidence and their self esteem also, like you said. And even in terms of
Just to
their
add
healing.
to this, I was just thinking like for all the events, be it expression or other, we have also included children with special needs. There have been choir singing done by children with special needs, and the other children, the way they take care of the children, especially with the special need, it's great to see them the way they work. Uh, they do not even require a parent or a guidance, because the other children take care of them so well.
And I think that's, it's so beautiful, and that's what inclusion is all about at the end of the day, just accepting this diversity and blending in so well with each other. So what do you think is the need of the hour, if we have to conclude our discussion and really reach out to people? What do you think is the need of the hour for holistic education? Like, what are some of the um, things that we really need to focus on going forward?
So I think the goal of holistic education should be very simple, that whenever they come in the holistic class, they should be able to express themselves freely. Uh, they should not feel the burden, because already our children are coming from the environment there where there is already so much of burden. Also, teachers should not lead, give the lead initiative for the children to take it. They come up with creativity, they do wonders, they do amazing projects. Other thing in holistic education is that helps to build their speech, that helps them to communicate effectively with uh, the world around. It helps you build their confidence, critical thinking, creativity, imagination. All of this is happening because of holistic education. And I feel in other schools or in other places also, the holistic education should be given equal importance, equal weightage, equal time, so that children get that time to vent out, to express themselves. That is really a need of an hour, because many places the holistic subjects or sessions are cancelled because exams are coming, or they have some extra class, or etc. So I think that should be something really looked into.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. We need to start giving equal importance to holistic education subjects, whether it's sports or art, anything, craft, music, whatever, and also look at how it can be integrated well enough into even the academic, your maths and science and social studies subjects. How can all of this be integrated to offer a more developmentally appropriate, a more holistic environment for children to thrive in? Thank you so much, Ms. Hetal, for joining us in this live session and talking to us so candidly about holistic education. I'm sure that all our followers who have tuned in would have learned a lot from your experience and expertise. And for all those who couldn't tune in, we will also be sharing this video online later, so you can also have a look at it at your own convenience and whenever you can. And if you have any questions after this live, if you still have questions to ask us, please do reach out to us, message us, and definitely Ms. Hetal will be more than happy to answer all your queries and doubts regarding holistic education. So please feel free to ask us and reach out to us. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who tuned in.
Thank you, all of you. Really, it was wonderful to interact with all of you. Okay, bye, all of you.